Welcome back to the vlog. Today is a 1-3 game with a $200 max buy-in. Andrew NEEME and Brad Owen in the house. And we're going to get right to the action. The first hand I pick up is Ace-King, and I take down the blinds. Shortly after, I pick up pocket fours in the low jack. I open the action to $10. The cutoff comes along. Everyone else folds. We're going to the flop. King, 6, queen. No fours in sight, and so I check to the cutoff. He bets 15, and I toss my fours away. I just get rid of all those marginal hands that get you in trouble. No need to overcomplicate things for yourself. 190 in my stack, and I pick up 9-7 of diamonds in the cutoff. The low jack has put in a bet to $10. I have a lot of potential with this hand. I'm going to call and see the flop. The big blind defends, 31 in the pot, three-way action to the flop. And it's 8-5 jack, not the best flop, but I do have a gut shot and backdoor diamonds. It checks all the way through to me. I'm going to put in a bet, try to take it down right now, but the low jack has something to say about it. He tosses in 3 yellows, 61 in the pot, and the turn is the 10 of hearts. I hit my gut shot. I have the second best straight. I could definitely be beat, but I have a feeling that I am good. The low jack checks to me. I bet 25. I think a small bet in this situation is wrong. I should have made a large bet in order for him to be committed by the river. And the low jack stacks out his chips and makes the call. The river's a 3, doesn't change anything, and the low jack once again checks to me. I'm going to go ahead and assume that he has at the very least a jack, maybe a weak 2 pair. I could bet 60 or 70 and maybe guarantee a call, but I'm going to ship it all in, try to get his whole stack. He thinks about it. He looks at his chips, looks back at his cards, but then picks them up and tosses them to the muck. River bets are interesting. They're where you make the most money, and oftentimes when you shoot for the stars, swing for the fences, sure you might get paid off, but if I just bet 75, I probably could have added another $75 to my stack. It's much easier for the other player to call 75 than it is to put their whole stack in. And so maybe that's a lesson in not getting greedy. The dealer pitches me some more cards. The queen 10 of spades. It's a beautiful but dangerous hand. I'm in the low jack. Folds around me. This is a tight table. I open the action to 10. The hijack calls. And then the button puts in the first 3-bet of the day to 30. Unlike the 5-5 I played yesterday, I feel like players at these stakes 3-bet with a lot more straightforward holdings. I'm going to have to go for something big here on the flop, but for only 20 more, I'm not priced out just yet. I make the call. The hijack throws in a few more chips. We're going 3 ways to the flop, and it's jack 8 ace. I flop a double gutter and a backdoor flush draw. That's all the excuse I need to stay in the pot, but I'm going to check it to the original better. The hijack checks as well, and then the button slides 50 into the pot. Although I'm not working with a big stack of chips, and typically you want to be committing money to pots on draws only if you have a lot of money and your opponent has a lot of money behind to make it worthwhile if you do hit your draw. I realize with a $200 buy-in, if I'm going to make any money today, I need to get my stack up and I need to get it up fast. And this is a pretty good hand with all my draw possibilities. I slide in 50 and make the call. And then the hijack pulls a very sneaky play on us, checked to the original better. And now he ships his whole stack in, 165, 115 more for me to call. At this point, with almost $400 in the pot, I'm getting the right odds to call, but I am hoping that the button calls as well to give me even better odds. Unfortunately, the button probably had pocket queens or pocket kings because he tosses his hand away. And for 115 more, I'm definitely going to make the call. I have $56 left in my stack, and I'm looking for a handful of outs, something like a king or a spade. And the turn comes the king of spades, the perfect, the most beautiful, the most needed card I could see. I'm sure I'm going to be scooping it. The river comes out the 10 of hearts. 3 hearts on the board, but my opponent flips up his hand. I quickly see that he doesn't have hearts, and I think I'm going to scoop the pot.
Wait, I won. Oh, we chopped. I see. Okay, there you go. I probably deserve that river. Nice hand. I got lucky first.
I got lucky on the turn. He got lucky on the river. I still made a little bit of money on that pot. 293 in my stack, and I pick up king jack offsuit in middle position. Once again, this tight table folds to me. I'm going to open it to 15. The cutoff calls, and the flop comes out 6, ace, queen. Time to hit another gut shot. I also have some backdoor spades. I'm going to continue betting small. It's a new trick I added to my arsenal. I make it 15, and the cutoff calls. The turn comes to 3 of spades, and now I have more outs. And because of that, I'm going to up the ante a little bit, put in a nice semi-bluff of $45. And 45 is going to get through. Scooping another pot. My strategy is working so far, up to 327. It's very important that you stay above the rebuy as much as you can, because the only way that you can get over $200 worth of chips in this game is if you win them. And I'm looking for an opportunity to double up against another big stack. I know there's a lot of money going around this room. The next hand I pick up is 5-4 of spades in the small blind. It follows all the way around to the cutoff. Andrew NEEME, he puts in a bet to 10. I asked myself, what would NEEME do with this hand? He definitely wouldn't call. He would put in a 3-bet, so that's what I do. I make it 40, and he tosses his hand away. This video took about 7 hours to edit. It takes less than a second to leave a thumbs up. Thank you so much. The next hand I pick up is pocket tens in middle position, 334 in my stack. Once again, NEEME opens the action, this time under the gun for $10. I'm sure he's noticed how tight this table is as well. Maybe he's opening up his range a little bit. I'm not sure. But just like Mike versus Johnny at the Taj, I'm going to come over the top of him. Once upon a time, when I first started this vlog, I would just call with the tens. Now I value them a lot more. I also understand the value of getting heads up against a player. Tens are very difficult to navigate if you don't hit your set against multiple players. But mono a mono, the value of them goes way up, even if there's an overcard on the board. Folds back around to NEEME. And NEEME has no problem making the call. 84 in the pot, and this is turning into a heads-up battle that dreams are made of. I just have to make it through the hand and hopefully scoop a pot. The flop comes out Jack 9-10. I hit my set, but this is a dangerous board. A lot of opportunity to get felted. I'm assuming NEEME is going to check to me. And then I'm going to have to defend this, put in a sizable bet. But instead, he rips his whole stack in, 121. I have a feeling he just wants to get right to the point. This is not a lot of money for him. He could easily have a hand like Queen Jack, King 10, Jack 10, and is also playing defensively against this board. Of course, I throw in a chip right away, and I can picture the thumbnail now, but I still have to win the pot or go to the turn. It's the Jack of Spades pairing the board. The river is the 3 of diamonds. I flip up my hand immediately. It's the courteous thing to do. He has ace Jack of diamonds. He had top pair, backdoor diamonds, and flush on the flop. I can see why he wanted to get it in. Unfortunately for him, I was just sitting with a monster, so I'm scooping up a nice sized pot from the man that invented poker vlogging. Thank you so much, NEEME, for sharing the hand that you had, even though you didn't have to, so that I could present a more complete and more enjoyable vlog for the viewers. 45 in my stack, and I pick up 9-8 of spades in the small blind. The undergun player opens the 10. The hijack calls. The button makes the call as well. Once again, I'm going to 3-bet, this time to 55. I noticed that this table has not responded well to 3-bets, and when the table is respecting 3-bets too much, which often happens at lower stakes games, and overfolding, you need to punish them mercilessly. You need to punish them by mercilessly 3-betting until someone stands up and challenges you. I'm scooping this one, and the next hand I get is pocket aces on the button, the most perfect situation in pre-flop poker. The undergun player limps. I'm going to put in a bet to 20. Only the undergun player wants to call. At least someone wants to play. 44 on the pot, heads up to the flop. 3 ace king, knip my top set. But the problem when you hit a top set of aces is that it's hard for people to have anything else. Maybe he has some diamonds, but I think I'm just going to check. Maybe he'll take a stab at it. The turn is a 10 of diamonds. He checks to me, and I can no longer check back. I have to put in some sort of bet, but the pot is so small, I just throw in 20, and he tosses his hands into the muck. We're going on to the next one. 542 on my stack, and I pick up pocket jacks in middle position. I open the action at 15. The button makes the call, and then NEEME picks up a stack of yellows and ships in 65 from the big blind. He's definitely a player that's capable of doing this with a lot of hands that aren't premiums. I am a little nervous that my jacks might be dominated. Then I hear all of you guys whispering in my ear, watching the videos, thinking to yourself, you better put in a raise on top of them.
200 total.
Pocket jacks is too strong, and so that's what I do. I make it 200, and he folds right away, keeping the pressure on, keeping my chip stack going up. My stack is at 3 times my original buy-in. After a bunch of losing sessions in a row, I feel like I'm about to have a big winning session. I got to keep it up. 623 in my stack, lose it down to 608, and I pick up ace jack offsuit in the cutoff. The middle position player's limped. I once again bet to 15. The button calls, the middle position player calls, 3-way action to the flop, 49 in the pot, and it's 9-10 ace. Connect with my ace. I have a fantastic kicker. There are a lot of draws possible on this board, and interestingly enough, the middle position player, who I'm giving quite a bit of respect to, I can tell that he's a newer player, but not that new, and he hasn't been overly aggressive, which gives me the idea that when he starts putting money in the pot, it's for a good reason, and he's going to donk lead into this pot for $15. Of course, I'm going to make the call. The button makes the fold. The turn is an 8, and once again, he's firing off on all cylinders, makes it 35. I'm starting to get wary that my hand is not as good as it should be in order to take down this pot. The only thing I'm really beating right here is hearts, but any other ace, all the way down to ace 7 beats me. He could easily have 9, 10, queen, jack. And so I'm just going to make the call here. Tread carefully on the river. The river comes out the 5 of hearts. Now there's 3 hearts on the board. My hand has gone from good to bad to worse. He stacks out his chips and puts 55 in the middle of the pot. It's not a big bet to call, but I go back to one of my foundational rules, asking yourself, what can you beat? And really, the only thing I can beat is a bluff. So I toss it away. Maybe it's tight fold. Let me know what you think. Down to 543 in my stack, and I get a second chance with ace-jack offsuit in the hijack this time. Folds to me. I open to 15. The button tosses in 3 yellows. Everyone else folds. 34 in the pot. Heads up to the flop. And it's ace 8-9. Almost the exact same flop as last time. Hit my ace again. And of course, I'm going to be betting. I make it 15. The button makes the call. And the turn is that Jack of Diamonds, a beautiful card to see. Hopefully he has a hand like 8 Jack, 9 Jack. This time I'm going to juice it up just a little bit more. I make it 45. The button thinks about it. He doesn't look too invested. He's not breathing too heavily. I don't see any signs that he has a monster. And so I'm just trying to milk him, hoping that he has a ace he can't fold or maybe a worse 2 pair. He makes the call, 154 in the pot. We go to the river. It's another 8. This is a great card to see. Now if he has an ace with a terrible kicker, he's got a Jack for a kicker. I don't imagine him having too many 8s except for possibly 8 Jack, 8 9. But of course with 2 8s on the board, it's unlikely. So I think, what should I do to get max value against an ace, against a sticky Jack? I decide I'm just going to ship it all in, 144. And he instantly calls, not a good sign, and an even worse sign when he flips up his hand. 8 7 of clubs. Oh my goodness. He hung around, and it was a good idea that he did because I doubled him up big time. I go straight into the grumpy chip dance. And just like that, my run up for the session is run down. 324 at my stack, and I pick up ace king offsuit under the gun. I open the action to 15. The hijack makes the call. The cutoff calls. The table seems to be waking up a bit. And then the button, the same player I made the tight fold to earlier, makes it 50. The question is this a squeeze play or does he have a genuine hand? And if he has a genuine hand, what can I put him on? I think he has a genuine hand. Probably aces through jacks. Maybe ace king suited. Maybe we're chopping with ace king offsuit. But I just think to myself, I have a feeling that I'm dominated. So I just decided to toss it into the muck. I noticed that there is an open seat at Brad Owen's table, and if no one else is going to fill, I'm going to, so I take my chips over there, set him down on the felt. Brad looks at me like, God, this guy again? Oh my God. That's right, Brad. You're in my neck of the woods. I'm coming out to see you, and I need some redemption from my previous meetup game. I pick up ace 7 offsuit under the gun, 309 in my stack. I put the straddle on the pot. The middle position player calls. It folds all the way around to the player on my right, the big blind. He makes it 13 for 7 more with an ace. I'm going to call. The middle position player calls as well. We're going to the flop, and it's 4-6-7. Top pair, best kicker. I'm going to take a stab at it. When the big blind, the original better, checks to me, I make it 15. The player on my left calls. The player on my right calls as well. 85 on the pot, headed to the turn, and it's an 8. Now there's an overcard to my card on the board. There's 4 to a straight. I'm okay with checking this, but the middle position player isn't. He tosses in $21, and the big blind comes along as well. I could call, see the river, but I just have that instinct, that feeling that I'm going to be getting myself into trouble. I can probably beat one of these players, but maybe not both of them, and so I fold. Time to toss away a few more hands. I really can't believe it. I'm almost at 30,000 subs. I never expected this when I started. Thank you so much for making that happen. Let's get back to poker. 281 in my stack, and I pick up king, queen of diamonds on the button. A beautiful hand to see. The low jack limps. I open it to 15. The small blind calls. The low jack makes a call. 48 in the pot. 3-way action to the flop. And it's 5-8-3. The complete opposite of what I want to see. Not only did I not hit a pair, but I have absolutely no draws possible. And so when the small blind bets a small bet of 16, I think I'm just going to wait to find a better position to put my chips in. I've really learned the value of being able to turn equity. If there was a diamond on this board, or if that 8 was like a 9, I have some straight and flush draws possible on the turn. In this situation, I'm basically just drawing to a pair. 266 in my stack, and I pick up ace king of hearts in the cutoff. The undergun player makes it 6, not a straddle. The middle position player calls. I put in a 3-bet to 30, and the entire table folds. I've had a rough handful of sessions. I haven't been able to book a win. And also, LA rush hour traffic is going to be starting in like the next hour. And if you've ever driven through LA, you know that it's definitely a time you want to avoid. I can finally book a win, and I can start building that snowball in the right direction. Poker is all about momentum. So I go to the cage and turn my chips into cold hard cash, in for 200, out for 271, for a profit of $71. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. Kato out.